Hi, good people. It's Sherry. Tonight, I would like to talk about the age-old question that asks, can exes be friends? Can you be friends with exes? Okay. I'm sure some of you have asked yourself that. Don't know how long ago it is you broke up, or what the situation is. But a lot of people, I think, go through that. So I'd like to break it down a little bit tonight and tell you a little bit about my story and what I think about, can exes be friends? And then you guys can chime in and let me know what you think. Do you think it's possible for exes to remain friends? All right. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you a little story, okay? A personal one in regards to myself. So I have an ex, a few, one or two throughout the years. One a while ago, a long while. Now, this guy, okay, we were both in college. Like this guy, right? Obviously, I dated him. Thought he was cute. Oh, he was just my type at the time. I had a totally different type back then. He was athletic. He was tall. He was slim. He was kind of, I don't know, like a blend between like I guess like a jock and a nerd. So he was smart and he was, he had some athletic skill. Oh my goodness. He was stable. He had a stable family. He had a mom and a dad, and his dad worked, and he had boat, and he hunted and fished. The dad did, and they'd go up north and travel, and his mom was like pretty and funny and friendly, and she could cook and just really welcoming. A very good hostess. So when you came to visit, it was a very warm feeling. And they had always had their grandkids over, and they were very doting. So it was a nice atmosphere, to be around. That's one of the reasons I liked him. I liked his family. Not so much his brothers. They were okay, but I kind of got the impression that they always thought I wasn't good enough. Ouch. I digress. Anyways, so his also my family approved of him. Well, my aunt, who was important in my life at that moment, and she kind of gave me the green light. She said, "Okay, he works. He's handsome. He's cute enough. He has a future. He's in school like you. He comes from a decent family." I got the impression that she wanted me to date up. As they say, marry up, date up. So okay. So he got the green light from her. And he was smart, and I was kind of smart, from years of reading and stuff, so we could really vibe together on certain levels, just have really deep talks. And and he understood a lot of things, which was funny because we were young, but he knew a lot about how the world worked. His parents were pretty smart in that sense. So yeah, loved him to pieces at the time. Okay, years ago, years. Okay, and I'm sure, he liked me too. Obviously, we ended up dating, so I think he liked the fact, I was mixed, and I was kind of smart and funny and, kind of cuter back then. And we got along, you know. We got along. So it worked, right? All right, college years, so I don't know, we hung out together. We were like best buds, right? We dated, we went out to eat, we went to movies, drive-ins, not too much swimming. I think we went swimming once, and he was acting like something about the water was too cold or something. I don't think he was a very good swimmer. Just saying. Uh, or he just didn't like it. But I love swimming. I digress. Anyways, we liked each other so much, as you can imagine. We worked part-time. We went to school, college, full-time. And pretty soon we were so much in love, we started not going to school, right? Skipping classes to go hang out with each other. Not very good, okay? Because this was our careers and our futures, right? The relationship moved fast. His parents let me move in, more so his mother. She was just kind of nice like that, like I said, very welcoming. So, yeah, sure, come in, we'll help you out. And, just because, skipping classes and stuff, my aunt was kind of getting, upset about that. And, she said, since you guys spend so much time together, she wanted us to spend less time together. And she, understanding it now as, obviously at 40, I can understand. She thought she was trying to look out, slow down a little bit. But, when you're in love and you're younger, you're not listening. You're like, no, full steam ahead, And it's wrong. It's a wrong choice while you're doing it. I knew, even being younger, but I thought, okay, I love him and he loves me. And, the logical part, my head was like, ooh, this is too fast. But the heart, the figurative heart, don't listen to that thing. I digress. So anyway, I ended up moving in with him and his parents. And that went out okay. We both worked. We had our cars. We went to school. we were young and we had our futures ahead of us, right? I managed to avoid getting pregnant. It's always great. Because otherwise that would have changed the dynamics of everything. Of course, that would have been a family versus a couple. So, yeah, and it was, we had fun and ended up moving out first separately. He had his own apartment and I had mine. And then eventually, like 6 months later, then we ended up moving in together. We could save money, right, on the rent and live together and spend more time together. It was wonderful. In theory, we were playing house without being married. Okay, I did that. You know, so um, so everything was pretty good. And I think when you first start dating, you have all that oxytocin or whatever that chemical is that makes you like love each other more. You got on your love goggles. You're like, oh, the things that don't bother you later. The things that don't bother you at first, you don't pay attention to because you're too busy being in love with them. Oh, I love the way they eat their food. Oh, it's so cute how they, da da da. Just the little things, which is fine. That's normal. And then eventually, anyways, so obviously we're not together. So, we started, some signs of non-compatibility started showing up that I noticed, okay? So I told you in the beginning I liked him. He was athletic. He was cute. He was my type. He was, sporty. He was stable family. Okay. Smart, which I really valued. Um, and then there was some issues that started coming up. One of them I remember was that his friends and his brothers did not like me. They basically told me this, that I wasn't good enough for him, because he played basketball and, like I said, he was cute and, and they really wanted a lot for him. Like, I think they wanted him to have, and I think he wanted himself to have, since he was kind of a nerd jock, I think he wanted kind of like a sexy sorority girl, kind of girlfriend that keeps her hair done and her nails done, dresses real nice. And here I was, kind of a dork, like wearing shirts with like cat prints on them. We were in our 20s, okay, early 20s, so it was appropriate, but it just wasn't his style. He was more, fashion conscious, okay, and he wanted a girl that was fashion conscious, which I am now. I learned to be, partly because of him, but his delivery was all wrong. The message was okay, but how he delivered it was wrong. I digress. Anyway, so his friends and his brothers always thought I wasn't good enough for him. That was kind of hurtful, to know that people think that you're not good enough for their friend and brother. Like, wow, okay. Obviously, he sees something in me, but okay. So, and then, too, our personalities ended up clashing a bit. He was a little bit bossy and had a mean streak, okay? And he wasn't very emotionally supportive, okay? Because remember now, he came from a family where his mother was very, the emotionally supportive one. So he was used to receiving emotional support from his lovely mother, who was caring and doting, and stable and positive and everything, and just held it together. I mean, she wasn't perfect, but, she was very, as far as mothers go, pretty stable one, it appeared, in most aspects. And then just, so he wasn't used to giving emotional support. He was used to being a taker. And I don't mean that to be rude, but that's how he grew up, and his mother, I mean, really, she when she took you in, she would just do it all. She was one of those kind of women, very nice. Not necessarily my personality, though. I am like that to a point. But remember, now we're in our 20s, so your personality, as you age, you get a little bit more softer, as a woman, I think, and as men. Things happen when you have kids, or when I'm a caregiver, so when you take care of people, you learn to be softer. Not that your personality just rounds out. Okay? So, but at that point, he wasn't used to being emotionally supportive, okay? So, that affected us, for sure. He was also very sports oriented. Remember, I said he was kind of a jock. He played, basketball in high school, so that should have been my clue. I played a little bit too, but I was never really into sports like that. Not that I dislike them. It's exercise and it's a fun thing, and but I mean, he would really get into it. Like, he knew all the players. He could, he knew when they started, when they ended their career. I mean, it was a very much of a lifestyle for him. A lifestyle, okay? Not for me. And then he'd have his friends over, and he had friends, same thing. He had played basketball with them in high school, and they would go work out together and come home and watch the game and, go to games. And they were very sports oriented orientated people. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing at all. However, I am not. Okay? So here they are in their sports jerseys and, having parties and stuff and get-togethers, and it's all focused around sports. And there I am with my cat t-shirt, not really focused on that, so it wasn't my type of, energy, my type of crowd. So even though he and I got along well one-on-one, you do have to consider how they fit into your friend circle. So I digress. Anyways, and he wanted a sorority girl, and he probably should have had one, or more of a girl that was into sports, or, wanted that kind of lifestyle. And there was things about us that were different. He wasn't really an animal lover, which is okay. He wasn't an animal hater. He just wasn't into them like that, like they weren't important to him. Like, he wanted a house without animals, so it could be cleaner. Okay. I'm of the mindset, and how I grew up is, animals add something to the house, an extra layer of, something to take care of and love and, and enjoy as your pet. And yeah, your house is not as clean. I mean, it's not filthy. You can still have a clean house with the animal, but it takes more energy, sure. But it's worth it for, the companionship that they provide. So we differed on that. That was kind of a big thing, you know. Um, and he was very ambitious, I will say, very, very, which is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. Because I think sometimes when you're so ambitious, you lose the forest through the trees, like I said. And sometimes it was his delivery. Like, the message was okay. He would, like, encourage you. He was like that coach off of Rocky, You're a bum. You're always going to be a, kind of like a little verbally abusive and whatnot. Just saying. Just saying. I was there. I would know. Or verbally harsh. Maybe that's a better word. I don't want to use the abusive word. Just, okay, verbally aggressive. Verbally insulting. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just saying this is how he was, He was called himself being encouraging, but it came across as a little harsh. At least that's how I took it. So it was hard to be around that a little bit. I thought, okay, well, soften. I get the message you're trying to get, but could you soften the delivery a little bit? And that just wasn't his style. I get that now. He wasn't perfect. But, when you're younger, and I don't know, maybe I was more sensitive and just, like, whoa, okay, I'll get to a story, though. All right, so anyways, that was us. We started noticing differences in us, right? He was really into, like, his, he was black, so he was really into his black culture, which is good, right? Okay, so I'm mixed, which means my mother's white, and I was raised by my mother's family mostly, so, there's a lot of that in my culture. I'm just saying, okay, so when you combine the two, you have to be aware of that and be respectful, but I think he thought because I was mixed, I was more black than I was. I don't know. Like, he didn't understand that my father was barely around, so I don't, for good or for bad, I just, wasn't as in touch with that as he was. So, which is funny, though, because he's very into black pride, but he also dates mixed girls. Okay. I'm not judging. Just saying. That could be a problem, because, we have white mothers, our loyalty is with our mothers and our family, like, it's, you don't want to have to choose. It got very odd, because and I understand it. I understand, the pressures in society and racism and prejudice and all that. I do. Obviously, that's an issue. Any human being understands that, especially being mixed. I get it, but he would say things like, he dabbled in, like, a different religion and stuff, and my mother was absolutely not having that. I think he wanted to talk about being a Muslim, and my mother was like, oh, no, if he doesn't believe in Jesus, you can't do it. You just can't do it. So, I mean, but I understood where he was coming from, because, it was a lot of oppression and stuff, and he was just saying, how could I read the Bible written by a white man, and white people were having something infected, that's why they're so pale, and this and that, and I don't know, it got weird sometimes, and I understand he was only saying that because of the oppression he had faced, so it's kind of like a lashing out type of thing, it's hurtful to be targeted and bullied in society, okay, because of the way you look or whatever. So that was a side effect, him talking like that. So I understood that, but it was kind of harsh, and I felt like it flared things up as far as us getting along, because that was an extra hurdle that we had to both overcome. Like, dude, okay, my mother's, when you say these things, I digress. So that was a difference, okay. That was an extra thing. Okay. So then there was some big changes. We were in our early 20s and some things happened. I never got pregnant, which was wonderful. And then I did end up getting custody of my brother at that point, okay? So we're in our early 20s, 21, 22. And so we get custody of my brother. He's like, he's a teenager. So I thought it was a little stressor, but I told my boyfriend at the time, I said, it's better, at least we're not having a baby, right? We're a little bitty helpless baby we both have to, take care of and feed and clothe and which would have been fine too, but this is a teenager, man. He can do everything. He can cook, he can clean. We still have to be there for him, but it's not so much care as a baby would be. And he needed it at the time. I couldn't say no. That's my family, he needs some place to stay. So, he's coming here. We have an extra bedroom. That's the end of it. Not really asking. I'm actually telling you, but, not going to say no. So anyways, that was just a little bit of a stressor, of course, but he handled it okay. He did make some questionable decisions, I thought, that kind of led to our breakup. Surely added to my decision to have us break up. He wanted to smoke weed with my brother. Okay, my brother was a teenager. I'm like, not a good idea. Okay, we're not playing that. You're not going to be the cool brother-in-law. Just let him smoke weed with his friends. Like we had, act like you don't know or whatever. I mean, we're not his friends. We are his friends, but there's got to be a boundary. And I think when you smoke weed with somebody, that can blur the line. Okay, not saying that I'm perfect. I was just, I was like, no. Then around that time, I started studying the Bible. Okay, so I had a Bible teacher come over. Now this girl, I was in my early 20s, 21, and she was just a few years younger than me. So 17, I think, not even 18 yet, which was, when she was doing Bible studies, and sometimes she would come with another girl or her mother sometimes. Okay, so I mean, this was the big thing. And she was cute, she was a little mixed girl, and she was cute and stuff. And, she was a Bible study teacher, so she dressed appropriately, nothing too tight or too provocative. It's a Bible study, for goodness sake. But I'll be darned if my boyfriend at the time didn't always say how hot she was, started mentioning how cute she was. And then about another one of my friends. And then about my cousin. I don't know, maybe I was being sensitive, but I'm like, you just don't tell me when you think somebody else is hot. That's a little bit, inappropriate, I felt like. So that was another reason, And then some other things started happening too. There was some strange things happening in his family around that time. He got into a big car accident. It was weird. It was almost like maybe targeting of some sort, is what I think. But yeah. Then he went on, let's see, cracks were starting to show in the relationship at that point. I think we irritated each other. Where it was once fun, when you're first dating and stuff and you love each other, you're happy to see them come home, you want to go out and do things and spend time, and you're just happy in each other's presence. And then when it gets time to like break up, you kind of just get more irritated by them, like, oh, I never knew you breathed like that. Or he would like get mad because I was a smoker, which he knew when we met I was a smoker at that time. And he's like, oh, I can't believe you smoke cigarettes. It started irritating him more towards the end. I could tell. We started avoiding each other, going out without each other, And remember, we were a year apart, so he turned 21 first, and I had to wait a whole year before I was 21. So, oh my, when you first turned 21, he was going out, he was having fun. I couldn't say anything, of course, he's 21, but I couldn't go, and couldn't get a hold of a fake ID or anything either. So, that kind of helped break our relationship up a little bit too. Just not compatible. One time we went out to eat with his friend, right? And we went to Red Lobster, which I'm not a big seafood fan anyways, but okay, it was an experience. So he's like, Sherry, get ready. We're going to go to Red Lobster with my friend, whatever. Okay. All right. So cool. I really didn't want to a short notice, but I thought, okay, this is an opportunity. Remember I said the friends didn't really care for me. I said, okay, well, let me make a good impression. Let me be polite and go. Okay. So I get ready to go. Remember, and I put on a cat tee. It was like this. Okay. It was a t-shirt like this. And it had a picture of a cat on it. Okay, they were selling them at the store. I actually worked at a retail store, a Boston store. So it was fashionable at the time. But he was like, I just remember him like giving me dagger looks at the dinner table that night. And, he didn't say anything. But then later we got home and he was like, you had to wear that cat shirt, didn't you? I'm like, did you like it? He's like, no. That was like, why'd you wear, just like, what a stupid shirt to wear. And I think back on it now, like, I suppose going out to eat, that wasn't the right shirt. But I was in a hurry. I wasn't thinking. I hadn't been out to that kind of place. I don't know. Okay. So sue me, right? Jeez. But just, the delivery, like, and in his mind, he's like, well, you should have just known better. It wasn't a totally dorky cat shirt either. Don't think that. It was like this. It was a t-shirt, but it had a cat on it. And they sold it at Boston store in the juniors department when I was 21 years old. And I bought it, and it was cute, and it had glitter on it, and I wore it. Okay? And he threw a fit. Another reason. Yes, those were the cracks. So again, versus a regular boyfriend, or not regular, but somebody that's a little less focused on their image would have maybe been more tolerant. And plus I know better now not to wear something like that. But at the time, you live and learn. It's not a huge thing. But I think he felt like I embarrassed him. And that embarrassed me to know that I had embarrassed him. Like, oh my goodness. I still kind of laugh about that. Like, oh my goodness, if I ever go out on a date or something, like, do not wear, obviously. Years of working in retail and getting accustomed to things. I know what to wear now, and I'm fashionable, more or less, more. So, but yeah. So yeah, we were starting to break up. But, okay, so should exes be friends? So we're exes now, right? So this is one of the things that I knew we were going to break up, and this was kind of funny. There was a guy that I had known in high school that really liked me. We worked together, and he took me on such an expensive date, and he really wanted to date me. And I feel bad because I never said yeah. I kind of was holding off because he's like a punk rocker dude at the time, and I wasn't into that. And I'm like, maybe, but no. And I ended up seeing him when I was out with my ex-boyfriend years ago, right? He worked at a Subway or something. And I seen him, and he was totally flirting with me, and he was so nice, like totally the opposite of my boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend was nice, but he was more, like a dude. And this guy was too. He was a dude, but he was like more the sensitive kind. Not like a wuss, but like, just like warmer, just nicer. Not that, again, my ex-boyfriend wasn't nice. He was nice, but not like nice, like that. I don't know how to explain it. Some people are just nicer and kinder. And the other dude was like that. And he was so into me, you could tell. And I liked him at that point. I'm like, gosh, I wish I would have had a chance to date him. But I couldn't, and we're like ordering our subs. You know how they do at Subway, and they're making your subs, and you're telling them what you want. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm just like, yeah, put pickles on there. and he's like looking at me, and I was looking at him like, wow, and he's smiling like ear to ear. I could tell he totally liked me still, and I liked him at this point. And I couldn't even, I had my ex-boyfriend next to me, and I'm like, which was my boyfriend at the time. And I couldn't even pursue it. That would have been wrong because we were still dating. So you have to leave one before you start another one. Usually that's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. It's more respectful to everybody. And I did love him, and I had respect. So I'm like, even though he had cheated on me a dozen times, which he didn't admit to until after we broke up. So I knew too. I kind of had a feeling. I had a feeling, and of course he denied it. But that was one of the reasons too. We ended up breaking up. So I should have got that guy's number at least and, like, friended him. But I'm so funny like that. I don't like to play around. Like, oh, if I don't like you, I'm not going to get your information because that's leading you on. Why drag somebody else into that? Because then you're playing that game, like you're, leading this guy on until you break up with your boyfriend. It's just wrong. I didn't want to do that. So, not that I haven't done horrible things, but as an adult, I tried to not be, horrible. So, yeah, that was it. So um, later in life, when I dated other people, I could see the difference between when you first, the way that you're able to get along with somebody, how it really should be, how you should click on all levels, more so their inner person. Like, remember I said, my ex-boyfriend, I liked him because he was athletic and he was kind of a jock and he had a stable house. Like, that was nice, okay, and a stable family, and he was smart. But that didn't say anything about his kindness, okay? He was smart, but he wasn't the emotional type of temperament that I needed for me, I mean, for someone else. And which is funny because now, later in life, he's married with children, and he found a woman, and it's funny because she actually is pretty laid back, and I remember him telling me that was one of the things he preferred with her versus me, which I totally get because I'm not laid back. I'm not. I am, but I'm not, It's kind of an odd combination, but yeah. So I understood what he meant. He wanted somebody, because he and I were both kind of high strung. So, and you think that is a wonderful match at first because you can vibe high, you know, you can really get each other and just really, you know, but at times when you need somebody to soften up a little bit, you know, and he wasn't really good at that, and neither was I. So, with the two of us, you know, when it comes to spousal relationship like that, so I don't know, we did whatever it was, we didn't have it for each other. So he found with his wife, she's more laid back and can be more loving to him, okay, which is what he needed as well, like his mother was also a very warm woman, okay. Not that I'm not warm. Remember, this is 20 years ago. Okay, good job. Yeah. So, anyways, he did well. He got married. He had children. New wife. She's prettier, younger, and makes a ton of money, more than I. You know, like successful. So good for her and good for him. You know, and they're together. You know, he was here, and I think he ended up something about some troubles because of, well, his nature was a little bit. He was kind of risk taker, and again, I think maybe something with targeting or whatnot. But he got into something, some, you know, something with casinos or something of that nature, and had to leave. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, thank goodness his wife's family, I think they're okay. If you know what I mean, you gotta have support. So yeah, um, yeah, he did better, and so can I. You know, for ourselves, you know, for not better like they're better people, but a better fit. Okay, so yeah, and yeah. So, and I need a more warmer person. I do for myself. I know now for me. And yeah. So, do I think it's okay to can you remain friends with your exes? Can you? Can you? Can you? I want to say yes, but limitedly. Like I will talk to my ex-boyfriend, but not continuously. Like I keep a level of respect and a level of healthy distance and boundaries, you know, because he's a married man and I would like to be married. So, you know, he doesn't want me, I don't want him. I respect his marriage. You know, and there, you know, I don't really have time to be talking. We're friends because there's no hard feelings, but we're not like best friends. There's no reason for us to overly, you know, boundaries. We don't need to talk all the time. That's what he has a wife for. I'm not trying to be funny. If we were that good of friends, we would have got married. Right? I'm just saying, we would have. You know, and it's okay that we didn't. Obviously, we weren't totally compatible. That's okay. That's actually, it worked out well. You know, because he found somebody he's more compatible with, and eventually I'll find somebody that I'm more compatible with. That's how it works. So yes, you can be friends, but very limitedly. That would be my final say on that. Yep. And then, yeah, that was it. So, only question is, gotta bring it up. Would an ex still be knowing your business if you're not together and you broke up years ago and they don't even live in the same place as you? Why would they still know your business? That part. That I don't know if that is like, you know, can exes still be friends if that's part of it, but I wonder that, like, why would somebody still know all my business? I'm trying to think, would I want to know all their business? Not really. I'd want to know, but anyways, can you still be friends? This video sucks. Can you remain friends with your exes? Yes, but very limitedly. All right, guys. Have a good evening. I will post a video on Saturday about, well, you'll have to find out. It's a good one, though. Really good one. You don't want to miss it. I'll prepare it. This was just a regular one, but see you Saturday. Thanks. Bye.